What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today I'm showing you a new collection from the brand Painted Polish. I've got their Rainbow Chip Realm Feast Mode collection. Before we get into it, if you haven't heard of Painted Polish before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based in the US, and all of their polishes are 5 free, meaning they are free of 5 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish, and they are cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So I'm really excited about these. We've got 8 brand new polishes. They're all crelly finishes, so they're somewhere between a cream and a jelly, just opaque enough to be able to see the flakies through them, and they all have black flakies running throughout, which gives them a really gorgeous speckled look. Now, earlier last year, I believe in the spring, Painted Polish came out with a collection called the Rainbow Chip Realm collection, which was a rainbow of pastel crellies that had little black flakies scattered throughout. And then shortly after that, they actually came out with their Rainbow Chip Realm Collection Part 2, which was the summer version, which had super bright crellies, also with those black flakies in them. And now they have come out with the Feast Mode version, which is the fall-winter kind of version of these polishes. And if you watched my video on my top 5 favorite nail polish collections of the year, you will see that the Rainbow Chip collections really worked for me. I loved them. I love a speckled nail polish, and I just love the variety of colors that we got for these. So I was so excited when I found out that there was a part 3. Now I will say these actually came out in, I believe, November, so they are a little bit more on the Thanksgiving themed side in terms of names, but I feel like the colors work really well for winter in general, and I also feel like a lot of them, especially the second half of the rainbow, just feel really perfect for that late winter vibe. So I'm going to show you all the swatches of those, then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I'm using the Orly Bonder base coat. So we'll go in rainbow order here, starting first with the shade Yes We Cran, and this one is a really beautiful deep pink crelly base that is absolutely packed with a bunch of different sizes of black flakes. So you can see they really do have a pretty big range. We've got some larger ones, but we also have some really teeny tiny ones. And the opacity on this one was totally unreal, but I did end up doing 2 coats. I do prefer to do 2 coats with these types of polishes just because I feel like it gives a little bit more depth, but it's a really gorgeous shade and I just really love this combo. It's a little punky with the pink and the black. Next up we have the shade Nice Yams, and this one is very appropriately named because it's very yam colored. So we've got this deeper orange that definitely has a strong brown undertone to it, and again totally packed with those black flakes. And this one I did find was more jelly-like in the first coat, but I ended up getting full coverage in 2 coats, and I did get a little bit more of that sort of brownish undertone going on in that second coat. Again, a really gorgeous shade. It definitely feels very autumnal, and it almost has a little bit of a neutral kind of feel to it. Next, we have the yellow of the collection. This one is called Much Ado About Stuffing, and this one is a mustard yellow crelly base that has the black flakes running throughout, and again, a little bit more of a jelly-like vibe on the first coat there, but I did get full coverage in 2 coats, and I thought this was such a beautiful color. It definitely feels like the classic mustardy fall kind of shade, but I feel like this also reminds me a little bit of the middle of a flower, so I feel like this could also work really well as a springy sort of color, especially for nail art. Then we have the shade Spill the Green Beans, and this one is of course a green crelly, but the green here is a little bit different because it has this sort of yellowy undertone to it, which I do think works really nicely for the fall. But again, I feel like this also would be a really good springy sort of shade just because it kind of has that grassiness to it. Again, we have a really nice range of size with the black flakes in there. I definitely got a few larger ones on the nail, but it gave a really beautiful speckled look. Next up we have the shade Zero Plucks Given, and this one is a sort of teal turquoise kind of crelly base with the black flakes running throughout. Again, a little bit sheer on the first coat, but full coverage in 2 on my nail length. And for whatever reason, this is the color that I always associate with speckled nail polishes, even though I feel like more often they end up being more neutral, nude kind of shades. This one, it just feels like that kind of robin's egg blue that I see with the black speckles all the time time. So it's nice to have a classic in here, but I do think that this one is a little bit brighter and more vibrant than I usually see. Then we have the shade All About That Baste, and this one is a very blue leaning periwinkle base with black flakes running throughout. This one was a little bit more opaque, but I did still need 2 coats for full opacity here. But like I said, I would wear 2 coats anyway. And this is another really gorgeous one. I feel like these end shades definitely feel more wintry than fall to me, which I really appreciate, especially because it is currently winter. So this just feels like a perfect icy periwinkle kind of shade. I love that it's a little bit grayed, and with that black in there, it kind of deepens it a little bit, and it does make it feel like a nice wintry color. So really beautiful shade. And then we have the shade Make a Wishbone, and this is another one that I would actually describe as a periwinkle, but I think next to the last shade, it looks very purpley, but I feel like this is just a very purple leaning periwinkle shade. And then we also have an actual purple as well, so you'll see that. But this was my favorite of the collection. I think it's such a beautiful color. I really love that very cool toned purple, and I think it just pairs so beautifully with those dark flakes. And again, it just feels very wintry. It feels very icy to me, and I feel like this would also be a really great transitional color into spring because you do get a little bit of that brightness. And then last but not least, we've got Last But Not Feast. I've been waiting for this whole video to make that joke, and it's not even that funny, I'm sorry, but it made me laugh. But this one is the purple of the collection, so we've got this very warm toned purple base. It definitely has a little bit of that dustiness to it, but it builds up really beautifully. I ended up getting full coverage in 2 coats. Again, we have that gorgeous black speckle running throughout, and I just really love it. I think it's such a bright color to pair with those black specks, but it does soften it a little bit, and again, it makes it just feel a little bit more wintry to me. So honestly, all of these last 4 shades I feel like I could definitely wear as winter into spring kind of colors because they feel a little bit colder, they feel a little bit more overcast kind of vibes, but they do feel a little bit like spring peeking in. So here are all the shades together. I really love the way that they look together. I feel like the top shades are definitely giving more of a fall vibe, and the bottom shades remind me a little bit more of winter, but honestly, I feel like I could make a lot of these work for multiple seasons, but I do especially just love all of them together. I think that they just look so nice next to each other. I love this slightly deeper rainbow that we have going on, especially with just like that little hint of dustiness to it, and I honestly feel like any combination of these would look so pretty together. I always want to skittle these when I see them. So very excited about this set. As you can tell, I definitely love them, and I feel like I'm going to be wearing them a lot, but let's talk a little bit more about them. So those are the polishes, and overall, I honestly loved them. I just cannot get over these Rainbow Chip Realm polishes. I really appreciate getting so many different colors in them because I feel like before this, it was really hard to find these speckled polishes in colors other than like neutral shades. So it was just really nice to get a whole rainbow, and now it's just being fleshed out more and more. So I'm definitely very happy about that. Now, one thing I will say about these polishes and about these speckled type of polishes in general is I do find that when they dry, they can sometimes have a little bit of a lumpy feel. Personally, I just like to use a thicker gel-like top coat over them, and I find that that smooths it out really nicely. But if you are very sensitive to more textured type of polishes, just something to keep in mind with these. You might need a second coat of top coat to really fully smooth them out, but personally, I don't have a problem with it. I honestly love the way that they look, and I don't find that they're lumpy through my top coat. But yeah, I will definitely be wearing a lot of these. I feel like they're perfect for Skittles. I feel like they're perfect for wearing on their own, and also I feel like just getting so many of these different flaky polishes, it's going to be really nice to kind of mix and match with different rainbows and different combos of the 3 collections so far. I don't know if it's too much to hope for a 4th version because I feel like we kind of already got all of the seasons, but it would be really nice to get like a super deep version of these. So I'll just keep on hoping. So all of these polishes come in 13.2 milliliter bottles. They do have a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, so application is super easy, and all of them retail on the Painted Polish website for $12 USD each. Now I do have a discount code for the Painted Polish website. You can use the code KELLI to get 10% off your order, so I will will link that down below and you can check them out if you're interested. But I'm curious to hear from you. What do you think of these rainbow chip polishes? I feel like the speckled polish is a hit or miss kind of thing. Personally, I love it, but I know a lot of people don't love it. So I am curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon, my royal astronomer Amanda M, as well as my cosmic admirals Paula, Ken, Rosie, and Angel. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Christina, and Christina wants to know, what language or languages would you like to be fluent in? I mean, honestly, if I had the option, I would love to be fluent in a lot of languages, but I live in the US and I feel like I think the second most used language here is Spanish. So I would love to be able to speak Spanish, at least conversationally. And I feel like if I could speak Spanish, it would be easier for me to learn some of the similar languages like French or Italian. Every so often, I feel like I get into a groove where I'm like using Duolingo a lot, and for the last few years it has always been Spanish that I'm trying to learn. So I guess if I just had to pick one, it would be Spanish. But now I'm curious, what languages do you guys speak? I only speak English. That's the only one that I know because I'm a fool who didn't pay attention in school. But I would love to know what languages you guys know. So let me know in the comments what languages you know conversationally or fluently, and then also what language would you like to learn? Leave it in the comments, we can chat about it, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.